Hello, Ross here from CommuniBee, and in this video we're going to walk through how to set up and manage your news posts. So using our template, we have a few sample news posts that we can either edit and make it our own, or we can scrap them and build brand new news posts altogether. So I'll show you two ways that you could do that. One is through this management dashboard, and the other is through the CommuniBee site itself. So to start, we'll jump to the community site and we'll show you how you can make these changes to the template news items from the site itself. So on this engagement tab, if we stay on the dashboard, we can click on View Site, and this will bring us to our existing CommuniBee site. And right now it's just that template version. But if we go to the News menu option, this is where those three template posts are going to live. And you can see these little edit block tabs on each of the sections within the site. So we can click on those and that'll take us right to the dashboard where we can edit the content within this section. What we want to do though is click on the news post itself. So we'll just select post 3 as an example. And from here we can click on that edit post tab, and that's going to take us right to the dashboard. So now we're editing this post 3, and this is when we can start to make it our own, change it from this template post and turn it into something that our community is going to use. But we'll show you now how to access this post from the management dashboard itself. So what we'll want to do is click on the engagement tab. This will bring us back to where we were at the start. And just below the dashboard tab is the news and posts, which we'll click into, and this is where those template posts will live. So this is how we can now edit the existing template posts, or we can add a new post altogether. So we'll go back to where we were, we'll click into post 3, and if we go back to the media tab, this is right where we left off when we clicked on that edit block from the CommuniBee site itself. So before we start to edit this post, since this was a templated post, it is currently live and available from the CommuniBee site itself. So what we want to do to hide this post while we work on it is to go to the visibility tab and then change the status. Currently it's set to live. We're going to want to set it to draft. So this is going to hide it from the CommuniBee site. So now we only have access to this particular news post and any other admin from your community. So we can hit save down below and then jump to the general tab. On the general tab, this is where we can update some basic details on the post itself, such as the post title. We can change the page slug, which is just the end of the URL. There is the feature card only setting, and what this means is that instead of having the media, content, and layout tabs available, we instead just link to an external sites post or an external sites page. So you just copy the external site URL and you paste it here, and then if you go down below to this sample feature card, if you were to click on that, it would then direct you to that external site. So we don't want that right now, so we'll just check that off, and you'll see we have the media, content, and layout tabs now back, which is good because we want to add our own content to this news post. Down below we have the short description. So this is just a brief summary of what this news post is about. Just keep in mind that there is a character limit of 140 characters. Next is the featured image. And so we can remove the template image that was provided, and we can choose to upload our own from the current device we're on, or choose from the media library if we've already uploaded images to our CommuniBee site. If we want, we can ask Bobby, the AI tool, to generate an image for us. It'll take the post title and the post description as the initial prompt, but we can change that and add our own prompt if we so desire. So as an example, let's just provide a basic prompt. How about just green tree with red apples? Very simple, but we'll see what Bobby generates for us. And so this will take a minute or so to generate, so just give it a second. But once it does generate, we'll have the option to apply the featured image, or we can ask Bobby to generate a new image. So this is what Bobby has created for us. Looks like a very nice green tree, a lot of red apples. So let's go and use this image, and right now it's applied to the featured image. So once we're happy with the information on this general tab, we can go to the bottom and hit save. Before we move on to the media tab, I do want to highlight this archive button, which allows you to hide content from your CommuniBee site. And since this was a template post, you might want to hide these posts instead of updating them. So this is how you can do that. Now we're ready to move on to the media tab. So on the media tab, this is where we can update the overall layout for the media on the page as well as the content on the page. So for media position, this is where we can set how that feature image or the video appears. So header and body only, what this means is that we remove the feature image altogether, and instead we only have on the page the post title and then the content for that post. Media on left, so at the top of the page you have on the left side the feature image. You can also include a video if you wish. That'll appear on the left, and then on the right side we'll have the post title and the content for that post. Media full width at top, so like a standard web page, the feature image or video you use will take up the whole top of the page, and then below we'll have the feature post, and then below we'll have the post title and then the content for that post. If you want to start completely from scratch, you can use custom blocks only. You'll have essentially a blank slate, which you can then use our custom blocks to build the layout of the page however you want. Once you select your media position, you can choose the media type. And if you have selected either media on left or media full width at top, you'll have the option to select the media type. And the types can be either images or a link to a video. And by default, the image that is used will be that feature image used on the general tab. Since this is a copy from the template, the existing templated feature image is still used. So what we can do is just remove that, and we can go to our media library, and we can find that apple tree that we had Bobby generate on the general tab. And now that our feature image is back, we can continue on and adjust the additional settings on this page. And just note that the media position that you chose will determine the settings that you have available. Media on left has vertical placement of content and image height, whereas if we go media full width at top, you see those settings now go away, and we have the banner aspect ratio and the banner max height. Image anchor is consistent, but these are the two unique fields that you'll have to choose from. And as you go ahead and make changes to these settings, if you save and then navigate to the layout tab, this will give you an idea as to what your post will look like once it's live and available on your CommuniBee site. So let's go back to the media tab, and we can adjust those settings as needed, and then again preview on the layout tab. So once you're satisfied with the media settings, be sure to hit save. And now onto the content tab. So this is where we can add the content for this post. And right now we have just sample data because this was a templated post, so we can remove that and add our own. This text box is fully HTML capable, so we have full control over the font style, the color. We can add numbered or bulleted lists, links, include images within the text, and so much more. So just know that you have all that customization available to you. Keep in mind though that there is a character limit of 4,000 characters, so if you do need more space, we'll be able to add additional text blocks on the layout tab. So let's add our content. We'll click save at the bottom once we're ready, and then we'll move on to the layout tab. As mentioned previously, the layout tab is where you can get a sense on what your current post looks like. So we have the feature image on the left right now, and the content is on the right. But if we wanted to add additional content, we can do so through the use of page blocks. So click Add Block to End to see the list of available page blocks currently in CommuniBee. Now we won't cover all the different page blocks in this video, but we'll touch on a few. So the text block allows you to add a header, body text, and an optional button. The side image block is very similar to what we have, where the content is on one side and the feature image is on another side. The side item block is similar to that, but instead of having a static feature image, it's promoting a page or post within your CommuniBee site. So this could be a sponsor page, it could be a specific item from your marketplace, or it could even be another post. Then down below, we have some more specific blocks like a recent post block or an upcoming events block. So for this example, we'll click on the recent post block because we want the user to, after reading our initial post, to scroll down and have access to the other posts our CommuniBee site has. Just know that every block has their own configuration settings. So at the top here, we can change the header for this particular block. We can configure the number of posts that appear, but because this is a template community right now, we only have the 3 posts, the one that's currently being edited, and then these 2 down below. So only 2 are ever going to show in this block right now. We can also show posts from specific categories or filters, but we'll leave that blank for this example. Once you're happy, you can hit save. And now we are back to the layout tab and we can see that new block is added at the bottom of our content. If we want to add additional blocks, we can do so at the bottom, or we can hit the plus icon next to the block on the right side. And this will add the block in between this what's new block and the post itself. If we want to edit this existing block, we can click on the pen and pencil icon. If you want to duplicate it, you can click on the plus icon, or if you want to remove it altogether, click on the trash can. Once you're happy with the layout of your post, we can go over to the visibility tab. And lastly is the visibility tab. So this is where you can update the status of the post itself. So right now it's in draft mode. It's not going to be available to users who have access to your CommuniBee site. If you switch to live and hit save, that's when users are going to be able to see and access this post. We can also leave the post in draft mode, but then change the publish date to sometime in the future. And then at that point, that's when this post goes live. We can also use hide after if we only want this post to be available for a specific amount of time. Once the hide after date and time is met, this post will then switch to archived. And what archive means is that this post won't be available to your CommuniBee site visitors. Instead, it'll only be available in your dashboard where you can still have access to the post. You can make changes, you can republish it, or you can delete it permanently. And next, we can add the post to a category and filter, so users can find the content that they care most about by searching by filters or categories. So right now, this template doesn't have a category group for posts, but if it did, we could choose it and then we could select the category that this post falls under. So a good example could be a support category. Next, we have the pin to top of feed toggle. So if this setting is turned on, then all the users who sign up for your CommuniBee site, their newsfeed will have this post appear at the top of that feed. And that covers it for the visibility tab. So once you're done making changes, be sure to go down and hit save. And to wrap up, let's go back to the posts screen. So this is where we see all of the existing posts. And now we only have 2 template posts remaining. So what we can do is we can choose to do the same thing that we just did with that first post, start at the general tab and begin updating that content. Otherwise, we can archive these template posts altogether and then start from scratch by adding a post and then working your way down. So we start at the general tab and then we'll go through the media, the content, the layout, and then visibility tabs. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and be on the lookout for additional support guides and videos.